Welcome to another edition of One Take Only. I am George Phillips with my sometimes good friend, John McClellan.
Always good friend. My friend. George, you asked me to bring a prop, and I brought a special one today I wanted to get with. It means a lot to me.
The Dan Weldon 2011 winner.
That's right, and I guess this is May. It's time to talk about Indianapolis 500.
That's why we're doing this.
Of course.
Because it's May.
It's May.
And in May, we do talk about the Indianapolis 500.
Well, you know, it's being an old Hoosier myself, you know, it is in my DNA, but with that being said,
emphasis on the word old.
I brought this, yes, and I'm proud of that. I brought this because two things. He was one of my favorite drivers, and his legacy there at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Indianapolis 500, is as profound as you'd want, you know, unless, of course, you know, A.J. Foyt, but, I mean, this is Dan Weldon. He, 2 wins, how many second places? He did a second place or 2.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Would you still feel the same way if he were alive today?
Sure I would. He was a favorite driver of mine. I was so happy to see him win that year. It was mind-blowing, and I think if you looked at some of the pictures I took when they were going around, I was very happy. And I will say this too. When I was growing up as a youngster, I'm talking about, you know, the very early 60s, if not 58, 59 and 60.
Or you're old enough to remember
Bill Vukovich,
he was dead by then.
When he was spoken of, it was always in reverent terms.
It still is today.
Yeah, but I mean, this we're talking about from my parents, my aunt and uncle, my older brother Lyman. I mean, you know, to me as a young kid, you know, he had taken on, like, you know, a very mystical, you know,
I think that's mythical.
Well, it was very mysterious, but regardless, it was later on though when I realized that not only was he probably one of the greatest drivers to ever drive at Indianapolis, Bill Vukovich was a regular guy. He ran a gas station in California.
I know, he had a gas station. He would, 2 weeks after he won the 500, he's out there pumping gas.
And working, yeah.
Donald Davison likes to tell that story.
Okay, well, I just told him.
Well, you stole it from Donald.
Well, no, I didn't. I did not. No, I didn't.
But you didn't fill up his gas station.
I was a little kid. I wasn't out there in California.
You weren't out in Fresno either.
No, That doesn't change anything. But go ahead. It's May. What about Indianapolis? Well, you had a great article the other day.
I have a great article every day.
His best,
every day in month.
His most
every day
favorite grid of all time, 1967. And when I was reading it, I was thinking, yeah, it might be.
I think a lot of people do say the 92 race because they had 10 winners, but there were some chumps in that field too. I'm drawing a blank. The guy that drove the Applebee's car, he was in that race. Brian Bonner.
Oh.
Yeah. And then of course, who else was in the 92 race? Philippe Gash. And there was no Philippe Gash in the 1967 race.
Not that you know, this is bad. You know, he's Indianapolis winner. But when did Eddie Cheever? What was his first year?
I believe his first year was 90 with Chip Ganassi in that ugly Target car, which the bullseye was like you had to see it from the top down. It was very ugly, but it was a Penske car. Most people don't know that.
I'm going to tell you what though. 64 had had a pretty damn good field.
Yeah, very good. And somebody, I forget where I was reading this, maybe in a comment on that site, on that article, but no, I'll tell you what, it was an article by my friend Mike Silver of the Pit Window. He wrote an article about Tommy Milton. You know, he was the first 2-time winner. And he was talking about how rare multiple winners were in the early days. It really wasn't until about the 50s and 60s when they became a little more common. And then in the 60s it really grew with Foyt, Roger Ward, Al Unser, Bobby Unser.
Well, the longevity of a lot of the drivers too, though. You know.
That's true too. So, because sometimes They drive 5 years, sometimes they drive 2 years,
Yeah.
and become fatally injured.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, yes, it is May, and oilpressure.com is every day in May.
Oh, yes, it is.
And if you like that article, a lot more out there this month. So,
and also, you can also write in as well.
who?
Our friends out there, they can.
Well, they can comment.
That's right. Comment.
Yeah,
about
comment.
What, what your favorite year was, or your favorite driver, or something that's really cool to you that happened. That's Indy centric. So I'd like to read it.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking to my friends out there.
Both of them?
Yes.
Okay. But anyway, but the Grand Prix is this weekend, then qualifying is next weekend, and then the 500. You're not going, are you?
No.
Why don't you go to one of the first 2 weekends?
Well, I've got things we're doing right now. Stacy and I, we just don't have it right now to do that. We are going to go to the Music City Grand Prix, which would be fun.
But that's here.
That's right.
But you could that's probably going to cost you more than I don't know how much they are. The Grand Prix tickets are cheap. Qualifying is very cheap to attend. Hotels are not expensive at all on those 2 weekends. The crowds are negligible. I mean, you ought to go.
Okay, maybe I will.
I can tell right now you won't. You're just trying to shut me up. But I'm going to be there.
Good. I'm so glad, because I'll read about it.
And Susan's going to be there.
That's fantastic. She can talk about the merchandise and all that like she usually does.
Yeah.
There's some new polos over there.
We went
Also, and don't forget, the tenderloin sandwiches.
Oh, I know. But speaking of polos, when we were at Barber,
Bad polos?
Ooh, they're all dry fit. Speaking of which, but no, the polos were ugly and horrible material. I don't even know how much they were. I didn't look.
Are you talking about the Indy polos?
Well, IndyCar and Indianapolis 500, both of them were just not good. IndyCar has a new logo though. It's tweaked.
I've seen it.
Okay, I like it.
I do too.
And in this case, change is good.
Hey, by the way, I'm enjoying the year so far, and I'm really enjoying that show, 100 Days to Indy.
I'm enjoying it. As I wrote last week, it was not made for us. When I say us, I mean the diehards.
Right.
But we're the only ones watching it.
Well, that's fine with me.
Well, it's going to be a very nice DVD set.
That's right. And all that too. Scott McLaughlin came off really well. And so did
he's a good guy. When McLaughlin first showed up in 2020, I was almost resentful to him, not because of him necessarily, but all the hype he was getting. I mean, they just hyped the crap out of him. And by the time he got here, I was so sick of hearing about him, I was like, I hope he falls flat on his face. Well, he didn't have a great year his rookie year.
Right.
But last year, what did he win? 3 races last year?
3 races. He won 3 races.
And he won at Barber. And
had a bad wreck, at St. Pete.
Yeah, he and Grosjean.
That was not good. They were both going to be there at the end.
I think both of those drivers are going to be around each other all season long. They're going to be fun to watch. I hope that
they were around each other last week.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that's right. They're great. They're good drivers.
Yeah, but I've really gotten to where McLaughlin is funny. I mean, he is got a funny, dry sense of humor.
So you've been around him. You get to joke with them and hang out.
No. The only thing I hear him in the media centers. No, I've never met the guy.
Well, he's good. He's close with his wife and his wife's family. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Got some great in-laws.
But and he kept his shirt on during the the segment about him too in the documentary or whatever docu-series.
Did you like that?
I like the fact that he kept his shirt on. Yes.
All right, good.
But,
All right.
but
Maybe they can have Colton Herta.
he lives here now.
Really? Lives here in Nashville.
He lives in Nashville now.
Okay.
And Newgarden is trying to recruit Scott McLaughlin to move here.
To move to Nashville.
Yes.
Wonderful place. It's a good spot.
He lives in Charlotte right now because it's close to the shop. But I can't figure out why Herta lives here.
I don't either.
Because he grew up in California and lived there all his entire life.
I get it because first off, Nashville's a great place. It's a wonderful place to live. And if you're going to have kids and all that, hey, you got wonderful restaurants and we got an IndyCar race too. Yeah. You got the Titans. You got NHL. Yeah, it's a major league city.
We got the Titans and Will Levis.
Oh, that's great. Well, and
I'm not going to talk about that. But anyway, I don't even care to talk much about the season up to this point. I went to Texas.
I know you did. You had a good time too.
First time I've ever been there.
Had a ball.
I really like that facility.
Yeah. It's a big facility.
And I hope it stays on the schedule for a long time. I would like to go back a couple more times. That is a fun race to go to.
Hey, that big building on Turn 2? Yeah.
That's like a hotel or suites.
Yeah, but what about the bottom part with those little black windows? That is the oddest looking thing.
I was watching the race.
Well, no, I've seen that race on TV a whole lot, and I've seen that building, and I was just curious as to what the hell is in that bottom part, those bottom three, four.
I have absolutely no idea.
Floors.
But it was a fun trip, guys trip. Paul Dalby and I went, and then a couple of weeks ago, or I guess it was 3 weeks ago now, went to the open test in April.
Oh, you've been to racing everywhere.
And if by chance you go, which I'm sure you won't, if you do go up there, I'll tell the viewers this.
Okay.
Check out the exhibit that's going on right now called Second. It's all second place cars. And I saw a lot of cars I have never ever seen before in the museum.
How far back?
1911. They had, now that one, and they don't try to pass it off as authentic. It's clearly marked that it's a replica, but it's a replica of the Ralph Mulford car, which some conspiracy theorists like to say that Ralph Munford won that race.
Tell me this: do they have that the number 19 Lotus that ran in the 1966 race, and it came in second place?
No. Jim Clark.
Yeah.
No, they do not have that.
So I remember that.
They do have the second place car that finished second to this car. GMR Hildebrand.
Is it all in a wreck?
No, they fixed it.
Okay.
He did drive it for the rest of that season.
I know.
But it's the old style Delara, like this one, and all the camouflage and the Panther Racing.
Right, Panther Racing. Panther Racing. At one time when Sam Hornish was there, they were racking up some wins.
Yeah, but look who they were doing it up against.
Well, they had Penske. They were up against Penske.
In 02 and 03.
They went up against Ganassi in the 500. It was pretty decent competition. Real good, good enough.
Well, Montoya spanked them and everybody else.
Yeah, well, that was
in 2000.
That was a show of what was to come back to us, which it was. I was very happy to see it.
Oh, I was too. But I mean, Panther was ranking up those wins against the Racing Gardeners and probably that's going back a little too far.
Yeah, that's too far.
But
hey, what about old Stingray Robb?
What about him?
Well, you tell me.
He's a decent driver. Obviously a rookie. I like the looks of that car, though.
Yeah, I do too.
I think it's a good looking car.
I think the name is pretty cool. Stingray Bob.
Yeah, I mean that's his real name too.
I know it's Stingray. Stingray.
He's from Boise, Idaho, where my son lives now.
That's fantastic. Are they going to be friends, you think?
My son's never heard of him.
Okay.
But I said, well, ask people around there. He actually does have my son's not, he doesn't follow racing much, but much to my dismay. But
my son does.
Well, I realize that, but my son went to the 03 and the 05 race, and that's it.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, Jack's very disappointed, like I am, that we didn't have the wherewithal to be able to go this year, but we are going to go. Well, we're going to have a good time. We're going to have a big deck party. I've got my cousin. He's coming up from he and his wife from Delray Beach, and his daughter lives here, and we're going to. I've got my nephews in Memphis. They're coming, and my niece and her husband, and all. We have a big family Indy 500 party.
Okay, well, let's talk about the race.
Okay.
You've obviously been watching the races this year,
Yes.
and you seem to know what you're talking about. Who do you like for the 500?
Okay.
It's kind of early.
Yes, it is.
Well, I'll tell you this, and I said this the other day on my site. I can tell you right now who I would be predicting for the Grand Prix this weekend. It's going to be Romain Grosjean. He's done very well at that track. He's coming off of 2 second-place finishes in a row. It's his time. But he won't win the 500.
But I'm going to say this. Okay, Penske. He can't say enough about him preparing himself and the team Penske team for the Indianapolis 500. And
however, they've sucked for the last 3 years.
Well, still, Andretti, same thing, and Rahal.
Rahal sucks this year.
Well, you know what? They weren't looking all that cheery that year when Sato won the Indianapolis 500.
No, that's true, but
And they always put something. They are always there. I do remember that when Franchitti won, when Sato went into the wall on turn 1.
2012.
Yeah, that was Rahal. I mean,
I realize that.
He goes for it.
Well, they've won the 500 twice now.
Yeah. And so anyway, I've got people that I got a couple guys that I want to see win. And okay. Well, I want to see Joseph Newgarden win the thing.
I'm thinking that Joseph Newgarden might be Michael Andretti and Lloyd Ruby. He's going to do very well, but he's not going to. I'm beginning to think he may never win the 500.
Well, we'll see. But with that being said, I like Scott McLaughlin, and in my heart, I'm always going to always cheer for first and foremost Graham Rahal.
Well, he may be another one to go.
I know it. That is, when he won those races in Detroit, you thought, he's got it now.
When he swept the weekend,
yeah.
He's
got it now.
They were dialed in that weekend.
Yes, they were.
And he's won a few races, but they have not. That team you talk about.
They didn't perform last week.
The Texas race was just
it's just horrible.
Awful.
Hey, speaking of Texas race, guy that always did real well down there, Ed
Jones.
No,
Carpenter.
Ed Carpenter. Is he? What's up with him?
I think Ed needs to focus on being a car
team owner.
Yeah, he. I've been saying that for a couple of years. I think his time has come and gone. Now he owns the team, so I guess as long as he wants to drive, he can drive. But
I think he's a good team owner.
Yeah, I do too.
And I'm gonna tell you, on those ovals, I thought, that year he had the pole. I thought it was going to be his.
Which year? He's won it 3 times, hasn't he?
The first year, all 3 years he was.
But at Texas, which that was his first time in an IndyCar since Gateway, and he far outqualified his 2 employees, Connor and Renus VK. They both were, they were way down.
Yeah.
And he wasn't great, but he was I think qualified 14th, 15th, something like that. But
at least he was decent. They were terrible.
Connor Daly he reminds me of just a hard worker that is a, you know, he's going to do okay.
Yeah. I don't think he's never going to win the 500. I don't think.
No, you know, it's a team thing.
Yeah. But I'm not sure what's going on now. At least Lundgaard looked really good at Barber. But Jack Harvey is a better driver than what he has shown since he's been at Rahal. I don't know what's going on with that team. I like them. I wish they could get it together.
Me too. And like I said, you know, Graham Rahal will forever. You know, I mean, he's going to be my guy.
Oh, I'm Joe, and I know why.
Yeah.
But one team you have not mentioned for the 500, which right now they're hard to count them out. Ganassi.
Oh, Ganassi.
I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen. I mean, and you can't say anything else. But Dixon threw that race away last year.
Yes, he did.
That was his fault and his fault only.
Yeah. And
he knows that.
And he's not going to get too many chances anymore. They're going to be few and far between.
I think he's going to.
You think he's got another 3 years?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
As long as he's competitive, I think he's going to still keep going.
Well, you know, his mug was around there this past weekend for a while. He was, you know, he was up on the...
At Barber, you mean?
Yeah, at Barber.
Yeah. But, you know, Ericsson, of course, won it last year.
I would have thought that Dixon, by this point, you know, would have had a second Indianapolis 500 win.
Well, remember Mario.
Mario only had the one.
When he won the one, you thought then, I mean, he's going to be the first one to win 4 of these things.
Yeah, it's a special. That's what's fantastic about that.
What's the old
race.
saying? The track chooses the winner, and the track only chose Mario one time.
Well, it chose Rick Mears 4.
I do think Dixon's going to get another one before he hangs up, and it could very well be this year. I think.
I'd like that. That'd be cool.
I would too.
It won't be Tony Kanaan, who I love. Tony Kanaan. Don't get me wrong.
Tony Kanaan ran 3rd last year.
I know he did, but he you know, that year he won, which at that moment was the fastest 500 in history.
Mm-hmm.
Was the coolest day. That was fun.
That is one of my favorite races to look back
too.
on. And
I also liked, you know, the one with number 3. Not number 3.
Elio?
No, not Elio. I liked Elio. I liked seeing him win, but the double name, the guy.
Hunter Ray.
Hunter Ray. Yeah.
I don't think he'll be visiting, but he won't be
No,
drinking
he's going to be
milk.
there. No, he won't be drinking
He
milk.
won't be drinking milk.
But he did drink milk, and he drank milk, and he drank it good, too. He had good milk to drink, because that was a hell of a race.
But unfortunately, he was one of those that poured it all over himself.
I don't like that.
I don't either. I've been,
Drink that milk, and then give it to your team
pass
owner.
it around,
Yeah.
cherish it.
Yeah.
But
And then send the bottle to me, so I can have it for my collection. I'll put it right here.
okay, so, I want to ask you this: how much time we got? Oh God, we've been talking way too long. What do you think about Ericsson? Marcus Ericsson.
Marcus Ericsson, I don't think he's going to win the 500, but
Well, he did last year.
I don't think he's going to win it this year.
I mean, what do you think of him as a driver? Do you think that was a fluke?
Oh, no, I do not think that was a fluke. I mean, he won that thing, and he's a top solid race car driver.
That's the thing. He is solid.
Yeah,
and
he won.
And I'm going to say something. I'm not going to take credit for it, partially because it's going to make some people mad, maybe even you. My oldest brother, told me this. He and I were talking about Ericsson after he won St. Pete, and of course he won St. Pete because, well, first of all, McLaughlin and Grosjean crashed,
right.
and then Pato O'Ward, he has the plenum fire and he hiccups, and then Ericsson gets around him and wins.
Which happens.
And it happens, and and I said something about, well, it seems like a lot of times he's just there to get the win. And my brother said this. I got thinking, he's right. He said, well, that's how Foyt got most of his wins.
That's how he got his win.
Yeah.
Not only that, yeah, because Foyt, 67, you know, the car that was going to win that race was the number 40 STP Turbine.
Yeah.
Cornelli Jones had that. I mean, you know, whether or not it's rules or whatever, you know, cheaters never win. What?
Three out of 4 of Foyt's wins at Indianapolis were because, you know, a problem with one of his, you know, Gordon Johncock in '77 petered out and Foyt takes over. Sachs in '61 with the tire, you know,
that's right,
thing.
That's right, yeah.
And then score 67, but 64 is...
He had the duel early in the race with Cornelli Jones. Cornelli Jones's car caught on fire in the pits.
Yeah.
But Foyt had already won that duel.
And Clark's suspension broke,
That's right,
and Bobby Marshman went out. But those weren't right there at the end. So 64, you give it to him. But and the thing is, there's nothing wrong with that. That's part of racing because Foyt had a habit of taking care of his equipment. He was always there at the end to wait on somebody else to make a mistake, and he capitalized on it.
And you know, he set track records too.
But that's kind of the way Ericsson is building his resume. I'm not saying Marcus Ericsson is the next AJ Foyt, but don't discount Marcus Ericsson because he's won a few races, but just not by being spectacular, but just by hanging around at the end, and that's his style, and probably going to work well for him.
Yeah, I think that's cool. Well, you know, we see it all the time, and my guy, you know, that's how he won. A lot of people have made statements that, well, he was going to pass him, but no, I don't think so. Just happens.
What, he was going to pass?
Yeah.
No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
No, he was. You know.
That was a horrible mistake on.
Hildebrand could see the checkered flag, and it
that
happened.
was unreal.
Yeah.
I was so excited that Weldon won too. I was, oh wow.
Were you sitting with me that race?
No, I was sitting over there with my brother-in-law.
Okay.
Right down near the finish line.
Okay.
I mean, I saw that car coming down the wall. But anyway, time, right?
Yeah, we need to wrap this up. So, it's still early, but who do you like for the 500?
Okay. Well, like I said, McLaughlin and Joseph Newgarden.
You got to pick one.
Okay.
They don't have ties.
Newgarden. Now, go do it, buddy. I've got you this race.
It's still early, and I reserve the right to change my mind before we get to race week. But right now, I'm thinking Scott Dixon.
Okay, all right. Well, you know, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to put my Penske dry fit polo on that day. I'll be grilling chicken.
Well, I'm glad I won't be around you because by the end of the day, you're going to have BO if you're wearing dry fit.
Well, that's okay.
It's like wearing a laundry bag.
We're going to have chicken and there'll be a little everything we want.
I'm going to have a tenderloin that day.
Well, that's fantastic. That's great.
And I'll that weekend I'll be eating at Charlie Brown's.
At Dawson's? You can eat at Dawson's?
I'll eat at Dawson's several times.
Great.
And I wrote about this when I went up to the open test. But
what about the Burger Bash?
No, it doesn't happen anymore. But, well, they've got some kind of something like it. But
well, you didn't miss the Burger Bash. But you didn't get any.
I didn't go to the last one they had down. I didn't like it when they moved downtown. Mm-hmm. But as I was saying, new place, actually it's not new, it's been there over 100 years, but new to me. I've been reading about it for years. Finally went there on that Friday of the open test after I went to the museum, when everything got rained out the second day. The working man's friend. By far the best hamburger I have ever eaten. Robin Miller said it was. Robin did not lie.
Robin, I miss you, buddy.
I'm sure he misses you too.
Yeah. He was. If he said it was a good burger, you know. It was
well, he also liked the mug and bun, and
I like the mug and bun.
Well, I love the root beer at the mug and bun. I like the atmosphere.
food kind of sucked.
Oh, not me.
The burgers were awful.
Well, I didn't get. I got a tenderloin when I go there. That's what
Well, that's not even tenderloin. That's a fritter.
Let me tell you something. You know what? I might just have a couple of tenderloins fixed up real good on race weekend as well.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
good German food.
Anything else?
No, that's it. I'm excited. It's May and it always feels good.
You're saying
And
Joseph Newgarden. I'm saying Scott Dixon.
Joseph Newgarden. Come on, Joseph Newgarden.
Okay. I like this car.
I do too.
You've not brought this one before.
It's a pretty little car. Well, I was thinking, we're going to talk about the history of the Indianapolis 500, and
It's part of the history.
That's
That car's,
major.
that car is in the museum.
That's right.
Although this car looks in better shape than that car now because they got that car that kind of the sun hits it. All this day glow is kind of faded off the top.
Oh,
of
that's
it.
too bad.
They need to
Refurbish.
repaint that car or rewrap it or whatever they do these days. All right. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. Well, it's the month of May. Couldn't be happier. And by the way, we need to do these more often. You know, the last time we did this?
No,
Last May.
Oh no, we got to do it again. Well, let's do it. Well, we need to do one at least the week of the Music City Grand Prix. Maybe we could do one there at the Grand Prix
Maybe.
because I'm going to be there.
Maybe. All right. So you have nothing else?
No.
Okay.
Do you? You got
Nope.
anything?
No.
You sure?
They get me every day.
All right. You
Every day in May.
Oh, every day in May. You got George.
So anyway,
Have you heard from the Lapper?
no, thank God.
Okay.
For John McClellan, I am George Phillips with oilpressure.com. Thank you for watching.